Smart agriculture consists in the application of electronic devices and data analysis into farms. Its main goal is helping farmers, providing them complete information about crops' health status and weather forecasts, reducing at the same time water and energy consumption. This is very important since the demand for food is rapidly increasing due to the steep world population growth, and food production's water and carbon footprint is very high. Climate change and the resulting land desertification with the consequent reduction of cultivable lands made smart agriculture a sector in which to invest heavily in the incoming years. At Politecnico di Torino, we are developing a project in which plant health status is not inferred by analyzing the environment surrounding the crops, but asking it directly to plants.
Okay, this system has been designed to properly measure plant health status, and it's been designed to be completely autonomous. In fact, there are those two little solar cells. They are made of silicon, and especially they are made in microcrystalline and polycrystalline silicon. The other devices are needed to this one. Its duty is to keep the power really low, so the whole system can last for a longer time, requiring a lower power to work. Those two devices are two timers. They're needed to perform the measurements once in a while, so the whole system will last longer. This system is connected to a supercapacitor that is this light blue device, and its behavior is basically to provide power to the whole system when the sun isn't present, so for example at night or in rainy and cloudy days. It's very powerful since its capacitance is very high. We're talking about more or less 1 farad. It is like a million times higher than the usual capacitance that you can always find in any printed board circuit. And as you can see, I will now take my instrument. It is a tester, and you will see how these two little solar cells are charging this huge capacitor. As you can see, the whole system that is very compact and very low power, it's charging this huge capacitor. And you can see its voltage is rapidly increasing since the sun now it's shining on my two cells. And you can see that the voltage is rapidly increasing. And once it reaches 2 volts, that is the limit that we set, it will automatically provide power to this oscillating device that is basically a square wave generator. And this device will inject a signal into a tobacco plant. And this way we will check its health status by analyzing how this oscillating signal will propagate inside its stem. The system I described you a little before, it's used to power this little instrument that is a ring oscillator, and its duty is to generate a square wave. And through these two cables, this green one and this white one, this signal will be injected into the stem of this plant through these electrodes that are basically just two surgical needles. It will propagate inside this portion of plant stem, and it will be again collected through this white cable, again into this ring oscillator. Now a probe, that is this little instrument here, is connected to an oscilloscope, and it will allow us to see actually the actual signal that is propagating inside the stem. And analyzing the signal characteristics, we will be able to understand whether the plant is healthy, or it needs to be watered, or has problem else. And this will be done by, for example, reading the signal duty cycle and the signal frequency. Now I will show you how it works. I will show you how a measurement is done. I will plug the whole system, and here you can see the actual signal that it's propagating inside our plant, and I can see that from the duty cycle and the frequency of the signal, I can state that our plant is healthy and it doesn't need any water. After a while, thanks to the timing system, the measurement will stop itself and will repeat after a proper amount of time in order to do not waste any energy. In a few moments you will see it exactly, it stops. Okay, these 4 plants have been put here to be analyzed, and they've been divided into 2 groups. And the first one is composed by these 2 plants on the right, and they are watered very often, while the second ones on the left, they are watered only when they reach critical conditions, in order to understand how different kinds of water stress affect plant health status. Moreover, we analyze the environment surrounding the plants, and this analysis has been carried out thanks to the little box over the little black box over there that contains several environment sensors, and they inspect at the same time the ambient light, so the light impinging on plants, the temperature of the environment, and especially the moisture of the soil. And this device collects this data and sends them to a remote computer that collects them and analyzes it. This communication is carried out thanks to a Wi-Fi protocol, and so there's no need for wires connecting the computer to the sensors. Moreover, these plants are in these plants there are 2 needles each, and they are used to inspect plant stem impedance, and thanks to a multiplexing system, each plant is analyzed only once per hour, and the multiplexing system selects every time which plant needs to be analyzed, collects the data, and sends them to the previously mentioned computer. The stem impedance analysis is carried thanks to this big gray instrument that is an impedance analyzer. It's very powerful. In fact, we are able to detect small variations in the plant stem impedance, and all the data together, so the ones carrying impedance analysis information and the ones carrying data from environmental sensors, are merged together to create a model to predict plant health status only by inspecting the plant stem impedance to foresee how the plant will how plant health will change in the future.
For our work in an agricultural application, it has been realized in a vase, a test bench where some sensors are built. These are capacitive sensors for agricultural use to collect data about the soil water moisture and the soil temperature. They are plugged on these jacks and are connected to a breadboard. It has been designed a circuit on breadboard to sample data of humidity and air temperature and the soil quantities as stated before. At this point, what's happened in one of these sensors is shown by an oscilloscope. When a signal is triggered, that sensor is supplied as a blue line on the screen, and serial stream data starts after a while in a yellow line. As a part of this work, it has been designed a firmware for the microcontroller in charge of to handle the timing of acquisition of data and to establish the communication using a low power and long range protocol as LoRa. Here we can see simply some raw data from the microcontroller DAX, and instead here it is possible to see what is sent using the LoRa protocol and a popular LoRa provider in the form of packets containing a payload. For example, these packets containing air humidity and the presence of a working sensor on second channel of the thermistor and its temperature, and finally the air temperature.
Mines Group is currently involved in many projects, including WAP Fruit and Fruit Guard, both in collaboration with Regione Piemonte. At this link you can find more information about them. If you need further information, don't hesitate to contact us at the following email addresses. Bye!